Writing a PhD thesis is an absolute headache. Where do I start? How many words should it be? Does this even make sense? All of these things make it such a troublesome thing to do towards the end of your PhD. But do not worry, in this video I'll be breaking down an 8-part toolkit to show you everything you need in order to attack your PhD thesis, have everything covered from start to finish. This is a full-fledged workflow which is broken down into 2 parts. Part 1 will be particular systems that you need to plan, organize and brainstorm all aspects of your PhD thesis. And then the other is particular softwares that you need to help supplement your workflow when you are writing. But all will become clear very soon. So part 1 is a note system. I know it sounds obvious, but bear with me. Not only do you need a physical one to brainstorm, write it quickly, the pen and paper in the lab or in the office space that you have, but also a cloud storage digital version. Now the cloud storage will become very important later on in the video. But what I mean is something you can make notes on your phone, on your iPad, on your laptop, on your office space, wherever you are, you have the ability to write notes down in any aspect of your thesis and be able to access it anywhere. This is the key thing about having a note system. So if you want to use Google Docs, or if you want to use Apple Notes, whatever it might be, or other particular softwares that are maybe tailored towards making notes, you can use them. But the key thing is that you need to have is the ability to be able to store it anywhere. So have it on any platform or any device that you're going to use. Being able to access it anywhere is really, really critical. Because sometimes I'm looking back at my thesis, some of these sentences I used to make came from certain notes that I found on my phone. Because I remember I was reading an article and I didn't want to write it in an article that I'll probably lose that paper. So I wrote a note, on this article, write it like this and give an example. And that was enough to put into my thesis. So that's why notes, especially for your thesis, are really, really important. And if you do end up writing paper because you want to change, make sure to take a picture of it, pull it into your digital note system. That is very key. Another one is what I mentioned earlier, is a cloud storage system to back up all of your notes. So this is all about the data, because that goes into your thesis. It's not just about writing words, it's about the data that goes into it. It's also about actually the figures. It's also about the articles that you put together. All of these things go into your thesis. So you need a particular place where you can access it easily. It's not like you have to go to 30 different windows just to access one particular data set. It should be easy to access, and you should be able to access it anywhere. And the only thing that genuinely answers that question is a cloud storage system. So again, Google Drive, OneDrive, Dropbox, whatever you think is suited for you and your university's policies, because Dropbox sometimes not. If you want to know, let me know in the comment section down below and I'll tell you the exact reasons why Dropbox can be a problem for researchers. But Google Drive, OneDrive, you name it, there's so many. You can make your own if you're into the tech world. So having that is going to be really key, because so many times I've had to rewrite half a chapter because something wasn't backed up. Because it wasn't backed up in a cloud storage manner. That's why it becomes seamless, where you have whatever you're writing is automatically saved on a cloud storage system. I would even advocate, again, not sponsored by Google, if you want to. Let me know, I'm more than happy to. But if I was doing my thesis now, I would write it in Google Docs, like the base version, right, in Google Docs, because then I'm not going to lose anything. Then I would transfer it into another latex editor or something suited, so I can add in all the figures nicely. But I would write it in Google Docs because it's automatically saved. I'm not going to lose anything. So just to recap, accessing your PDFs, your documents, your data, anywhere in the world. When we're going to conferences, you want to be able to access the data. Cloud storage system, you need to have that ready when you're about to write your thesis. The other one is actually quite interesting. You probably don't believe is important. I certainly do, and I wish I did it more. Is having a accountability system. Now, what this means is that you might have another friends and colleagues within your research group or outside your research group who might be writing their thesis as well. Writing is it's not like, if I do this, this will come out. Sometimes you have to be in the right frame of mind, right flow. Sometimes you might hit writer's block. So sometimes writing with somebody else in mind may help you to make some progress day to day, week to week. Now, I'm not on about how much you should write in a day, but having somebody there with you, again, they might be doing a different degree, but just having somebody there with you to work with whilst you're writing your thesis can help for you to get away from distractions. Because sometimes if you're on your own, you might be able to focus. Some people might get distracted more. That's why having that particular system when you're writing your thesis is super, super important. Looking back now, I think I would have been able to write my thesis a lot quicker had I wrote it with other people, but because of what I had to go through my PhD, it was very difficult to actually sit and have time to sit with other people. So don't make the mistake I did. If you have the ability to do so, write with people next to you, you might make progress. Now, the last system in this part is actually cycling through different writing locations. Now, why this is super important is you might like writing in coffee shops. I certainly do. I write in coffee shops all the time. You might want to write in a particular coffee shop, then in a library, then in office space, then back at home, then at your friend's house, whatever. Cycle through these locations and document where they are, because sometimes you might be writing at a particular place too long and you might need to change the scenery. And believe me, It's not about, what particular software or how many words. Sometimes all it is a change of scenery, and that can be the catalyst for you writing a lot of things. Now, moving on to the particular softwares that you need. One, of course, is a writing software. I know it sounds nail on the head, but some of you might be quite confident in Microsoft Word and some integrations it probably has now compared to when I wrote it in the 1800s. But you might prefer the kind of modern day LaTeX editor because that might be more suited to your writing workflow. Whatever it is, make sure you have a particular software that ticks the boxes you need. Write those boxes down because your thesis is different to the other person might be watching this video. So you need to knuckle down exactly what you need to make writing your thesis really important. And some of them I'm mentioning in this video, but some of them you need to do your own homework. You know the type of data you have, you know the type of workflow you have. Cater it. These are just toolkits you can use as your arsenal to make writing a lot easier. But yeah, writing software, super important. But you can have supplementary tools to help you with your writing workflow. Two in particular are Yomu.ai and Sourcely, who are kindly sponsoring this video. These are incredible powerhouses of AI tools to help you in different parts of a writing workflow. I made dedicated videos on them. You can see them on the screen right now. Videos are in the description box down below. But just to give you a summary in this video, features like autocomplete, the ability to write actual arguments pro and against from a particular prompt you've written in your workflow, as you can see on the screen right now, or using a whole array of different arsenals of GPT models to fine-tune what you need. And if that's not enough, because it already is quite a lot, you can train it to write the way you write. By giving a piece of your own writing tool, it will then engineer any AI generation it creates, from finishing the sentences to writing, pros and cons to an argument you've written before. It will write it in the way you write, essentially giving it its own model from your writing. That is a game changer. So sometimes when I wrote the paper that I made a video on, you can see on the screen right now, because I gave it a prompt, it was able to write certain arguments as if I was going to write it. Again, I go in there, model it, change it. Then I could take that paper, copy it into my dedicated writing software, and that was it. That's how powerful Yomu.ai is. I would genuinely urge you to check it out, at least have a trial, because you will not be disappointed. I certainly wish I had it when I did my PhD. And a lot of people who've actually utilized the tool have told me that they found it really, really useful. So I do urge you to try it out. But something that's even more of a game changer and solves a massive problem within the writing workflow is citations. And Sourcely does a great job at giving it, let's work it through right now. Give it a certain sentence that you've written in your thesis, put it in there, click a button, and it will find accurate citations that fit and back the evidence that you need to corroborate that particular sentence. Because we know as researchers, the biggest problem we have is we write something and I have to spend another 5 hours trying to find a particular article that's actually backs up what we're trying to say. Sourcely does that for you. And not only does that for you, it will tell you within the sentence where this citation matches and what other examples that you have. So I urge you to check that out, because that would save you the most time, I would say, in terms of you just focus on writing your thesis. It will then find the citation for you. Now moving on, references. Do not write your references manually. You need to make sure you have some sort. There's so many softwares out there now. I used Mendeley back in my PhD. There's RefWorks. And I'm sure there's probably a few more. Make sure you use one that you're consistent with, because then you can put all your PDFs, all your articles in, and it will help to manage it a lot for you. Because if you've got some random folder on your memory stick, look, this is not actually planned, but I was cleaning out my room. This was my actual memory stick from my PhD. So you can see how much dust has got on it. My rest of the room is not dusty, just this, by the way. But if I have all my references in PDF on here and then lose this, big problem, right? Now, obviously, with modern day PhD student, you're going to have these kind of tech supplementary tools like house storage and AI tools like Yomu and Sourcely. But don't deny and don't neglect the references side, because something we don't really like to do, just like citations, right? So make sure you have some sort of dedicated tool to help you, because it's going to make that writing workflow a lot easier later on. Now, lastly, something you might not think is really important is having an illustrative tool. So drawing figures out, drawing diagrams out. This is actually really important within your writing workflow, because it actually breaks up the text. Something you don't realize is when you're writing a PhD thesis, you're not trying to write the perfect story. You're trying to write a story that can convey everything you've done to your examiners. So if you have really nice figures that you've designed in a really nice illustrative tool, then it's going to break up that text and make it a much more easier, user-friendly viewing experience, much more enjoyable reading experience for the examiner. And if you're going to enjoy writing it, they're less likely to pick up things. If it's just a whole body of text, you're going to be bored. You're going to be bored, they're not going to read it properly, they're going to take a lot longer, and they're not going to enjoy it as much. The more the examiner enjoys reading your thesis, the more enjoyable the conversation might be in your Viva. And one good way to help do that is having really nice diagrams that are better visually seen than read, if that makes sense. So make sure there's so many, you've got mind your graph, you've got bi-render, all of these different things. Have a look at which one is suited to the type of data you need and the type of diagrams you need to make, and create your own. I use Adobe Draw. I don't think that exists anymore, but to draw, I'll try to find it in my thesis and put it on the screen right now. And I use that to draw this example. Because better to visually explain this, because sometimes it's quite hard to explain it via words. To leverage that, make use of it, because it's going to help you to have a much more well-rounded, comprehensive thesis. So there you have it. There is a dedicated, full-fledged toolkit you need, everything that is important to go attack your thesis, to write it efficiently, effectively, and also to enjoy writing it as well. Hopefully these tools help and these systems give you an idea of, once I've got these in place, it's going to make my writing workflow a lot easier. Let me know in the comment section down below if you did find this video useful. The links to Yomu and Source are in the description, as well as some discount codes to help with your monthly or annual subscriptions. I'll stop talking. I'll let you enjoy writing your thesis. See you soon.